turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen Big Homie get the fumble, he get a turnover chain.
Welcome everybody to the weekly college football pick'em show on Grueling Truth Sports Network. The College Football Weekly Pick'em Show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. If you want to bet, MyBookie.ag is the place to go this week. I didn't win anything, but last week when I did, I got paid within 48 hours. Make sure you go to MyBookie.ag. You can use the promo code for Grueling Truth of TGT50, or you can go to GruelingTruth.net, click the banner. It'll take you right through to it. You'll be all set up and ready to bet this weekend. All right, I want to introduce my two co-hosts as normal, plus we've got a special guest today. My two co-hosts, of course, the Biggest Losers. They were tied for the Biggest Loser at 8-8 last week. We'll start off with Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Brian?
Oh, just gotta turn it around this week and, make it happen. So
Brian always make fun of Oz for coming in last, but this is the third straight show you've come in last. I mean, that's the NFL pick'em.
I know. It's part of being busy, I guess. I'm not on my game right now, but that's all right. Got plenty of time.
All right, and of course, from the University of Alabama, played for Bear Bryant on 2 national championship teams. Bill Searcy, how you doing, Bill?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. It's Iron Bowl week here in Alabama. You know what that means.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to act stupid and get drunk. And, of course, our special guest from the U. He was named, I believe you were named, you were named as a starter on the All-Miami Hurricane football team, all-time team. Help us welcome to the show, Leon Searcy. How you doing, Leon?
What's going on, gentlemen? Glad to have you on the show.
All right, guys, let's start off. We'll talk about the thing that is prevalent in the NCAA football today, Leon. Baker Mayfield. What's your take on Baker Mayfield?
Oh, they might as well engrave his name with the Heisman. I mean, he's the most exciting elected quarterback in the league right now. I mean, he's putting up some astronomical numbers. I mean, it's a one-horse race, to be quite honest with you. I don't see anybody else that's playing at his level of football, especially at the quarterback position. Now, he's got to do something with that crotch thing, that whole crotch thing that he's doing on the sideline. He got to work on that. But everything else, I mean, he's prolific, he's efficient, he's getting the job done. I mean, Oklahoma's offense is probably one of the most dangerous offenses in college football right now.
All right, my problem with the crotch grab is they tear Baker Mayfield up, Bill, but Kansas is the one that started this crap, refusing to shake his hand and being general assholes, and everybody just goes right past that.
There's no rule that you have to shake hands at the coin toss.
Yeah, but this is the thing. They were doing it like assholes.
Yeah, of course they were. They were trying to get
if you don't want Baker to grab his crotch, don't get beat 41-3.
Well, you're right. I was always told if you don't want them to celebrate or grab their crotch, keep them out the end zone. And he lit their ass up, too.
Yes, he did. Bill, what's your take on Baker?
Well, just like Leon said, he's the best player in the country. Guys putting up 50 points a game. Regardless if they got a defense or not, they're still winning. He's a winner. He's a leader. And, let's be honest with each other. He won't be the first Heisman guy that had something questionable happen, not related to his, actual playing ability. So I think that's gone out the window a long time ago. So I think he wins the Heisman hands down, man.
All right, Bill or Brian, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I mean, the whole issue really started from the way they were acting at the coin toss. But at the same time, Baker Mayfield's got to understand that doing some of these antics and stuff isn't exactly going to be a good idea in professional football. So, I think he's got to do a better job of understanding, his role and what he's doing. But I mean, he's the best player in college football right now. Heisman Trophy, absolutely. And I have less problem with what he did because of what they did. They really, the way they did that whole coin toss thing, I mean, they were trying to get under his skin, and all he did is go out and blow them out. So, you sometimes get what you pay for.
Yeah, and let's face it, if you're 1988 Miami or 1980 Alabama, you get away with that stuff. But when you're one for the last 3 years, maybe just shut the hell up and play the game.
Yeah, Kansas didn't have a pedigree to walk up there and not shake anybody's hand. I mean, they're the last team that should have been doing something like that. And they woke up a sleeping giant. I already knew when I saw the game, when I saw them play Kansas. I figured they'll lose by 30. I think Baker Mayfield put a little extra sauce on that game, what they did at the coin toss. So, but yeah, like you talked about earlier, Mike, he's the best player in the country. Unless he just has a meltdown the next couple of games, I can't see anybody else winning that Heisman.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and we'll start picking the games this week. This is basically rivalry week for college football. We'll start off with Leon, Virginia Tech at Virginia. Virginia Tech is favored by 7. We're picking with the point spread. So Virginia Tech, the Hokies are favored by 7 at the Cavaliers.
Hey, I don't know about that. I got to see Virginia play Miami firsthand, and I was expecting a little emotional letdown from Miami from what they played against Notre Dame, because Miami played that game like that was their championship game, the way they played Notre Dame, and I expect a little letdown, but I didn't expect Virginia to come out to be as efficient as they were. The quarterback started the game 15 or 16, had 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards passing in the first half. So it had me scared a bit. So, but we came back and scored 30 points in the second half and ultimately won the game. So I don't know. Virginia Tech is kind of one-dimensional. If I was to put the quarterbacks head-to-head, I would take Virginia's quarterback over Virginia Tech's quarterback. Both defenses are stout. I'm going to go with Virginia in this game. I think Virginia's going to pull the upset at home. I think they have Miami on the ropes, and I think this is another opportunity to play a top 25 team, and I think they're going to get it done this time. I'm just glad they didn't get it done last week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Leon on this, especially with 7 points. Virginia Tech may win the game, but I don't think it's going to be by more than a touchdown. I think this is going to be a close game, Bill.
Yeah, Leon pretty much said everything in his analysis of the game. So I'm going to take Virginia. I just think they're a lot better team than a lot of people realize. They don't get the recognition nationally that a lot of teams do. But I'm going to take Virginia in the points.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, we're gonna make this a clean sweep. I think that's too many points. I think Virginia Tech may win, but I think Virginia is going to cover that. I think Virginia could upset them. That's too many points for the Virginia team that I think certainly matches up well with Virginia Tech. I just think it's too many points. So I agree with all you guys.
All right, next up we got the Battle of Texas. We got the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who have been in a little bit of a nosedive, I guess we could say, at Texas. Brian, Texas is favored by 10.5 at home.
Yeah, take Texas in the points. I think this is going to be Kingsbury's swan song. They're not happy. Again, I think his recruiting has not been as good as they would have liked. You see them play well early, and then they get into the Big 12 and they struggle. And Texas right now is playing really good football. So I take Texas in the points.
All right, Bill?
What'd you say? I'm sorry. What'd you say the line was, Mike?
Texas is favored by 10.5 at home.
Texas favored by 10.5. I'm going to take Texas Tech in the points.
Okay. All right, Leon. Now, the impressive thing about Texas right now is everybody thought Tom Herman would take a couple years to turn this program around, but he got them looking pretty good through the second half of the season.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well. And one thing I'm surprised about this game is Texas Tech is not putting up the points they used to. I mean, when you think about Texas Tech Red Raider team, you're looking at a team, usually a team that puts up 35, 40, 45 points a game, and they're just not getting. They're not the gunslingers like they were about a year ago or 2 years ago. So I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to take Texas in the points. I think Texas is going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas in the points also. The next one, we got to let Brian go first. He's a big Buckeye fan. Ohio State is favored by 11.5 at Michigan Wolverines, Brian.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that's going to be Ohio State easily over that team up north. This Michigan, with the injuries and the issues they're having in Ohio State, the way they're playing. This a great rivalry. It'll be, there have been times where it's always been a great game when maybe one team's not as good as the other, but this is going to be one of those occasions. I think Ohio State's going to win this pretty handily.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I think Ohio State is, after that debacle in Iowa, when they gave up 55 points, I think they're playing a lot better, a lot more sound on defense and offensively. I think the quarterback is playing a lot better than he did after the Iowa game, and everybody's talking about this team with the outside opportunity and making it to the playoffs. And you just got to be leery of these rivalry games. I know Michigan is they're struggling a little bit with injuries, and defense is not as rock solid as it used to be, and offensively they're abysmal. I'm gonna take Ohio State. I'm gonna take them the points too. I think Ohio State's gonna win this game handily.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State too. And after the loss to Iowa, they've been playing better in every phase of the game. And I don't think Michigan can move the ball against Ohio State's defense, which has been playing very good. And so it's a pretty easy pick for me to take Ohio State in this one.
All right, I'm going to go with the Wolverines. I'm taking Michigan at 11.5. I don't necessarily think they'll win the game, but they're at home. It's a rivalry game, and we saw this last week. I mean, USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford were both huge. I mean, both those games, huge point spreads on them. In a rivalry game, you never know. I'm going to go with Michigan. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm playing a house money because I got a one-game lead anyway, so I'm going to roll with it. The next game, we got the Georgia Bulldogs favored by 11 at the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Oh, let's see. I'll start this one off. I'm going to take Georgia Tech in the point for the same reason I think Georgia wins the game, but I think Georgia Tech, with the option offense that they run, I think they're going to keep this game closer than 11 points. What do you think, Leon?
Yeah, I think so, too. And they're playing at home. Yeah, that triple option was something serious. Miami had to face a few weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it gave her a stiff. It gives a lot of teams that. I don't care how good the defense is.
Yeah, look what Navy did with Notre Dame.
Exactly. I don't care how sound your front seven is. You're going to struggle with that triple option, and they gave her a stiff. I think Georgia's going to win the game, but I'm going to take Georgia Tech in the points. So I don't think Georgia's going to beat them by 11. I think it's going to be a close game.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I have to agree. And this, always comes back to either pick an air raid or option teams. But if you look at the history of this series, especially since Paul Johnson, thank you. Since he's been at Georgia Tech, it's always, for the most part, I can't think of any time it's really been a blowout. It's always been close. They always play Georgia. They always play Georgia well, and that option offense will give you fits. So I definitely think this is a huge. This could be a huge upset alert.
All right, Bill.
Georgia wins by 3, but I'm going to take Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia can shut down that option. Like you said, Paul Johnson, they just run it too well, man, and everybody has fits with it. So I'm going to take Tech.
All right, the next game we've got. Hell, that was good. We'll go Penn State, favored by 21 at Maryland, Leon.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a cakewalk. It's pretty amazing. Just 3 years ago, 3 weeks ago, Penn State was the darling of college football. Everybody had them picks in the in the playoffs, how well they were playing, and now they dropped a few games. But they're still sound. I still like their running back. He'll probably be a top 5 pick in the draft come next year. Penn State plays well, and I don't even think Maryland's supposed to be in the Big Ten, to be quite honest with you. I mean, they have no real pedigree to be playing in the Big Ten, and I think Penn State is going to show them. So I got Penn State winning this game easily over Maryland.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, take Penn State big time over Maryland. This won't be close.
All right, Bill.
Yeah, Penn State big over Maryland. They're going to score at least 40 points. Maryland doesn't have any business in this game with them.
Yeah, I agree. Penn State easy, but we have to bring it up because we got a lot of Penn State fans listening. So kind of like every game, even when they play Mercury, we talk about. The next game, which I think it's one of the more interesting games of the week. We got Washington State at Washington. Washington is favored by 9, Schmidt.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting game. I still, as much as I want to take Washington State in this, I just Washington has been so good against Washington State recently. I'm going to take Washington.
All right. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to pick the points in Washington State. I don't think 9 points is anywhere near the difference between these teams. I know it's at Washington, which worries me. I really like Chris Peterson, Washington, but of course I like Mike Leach also. So I'm going to go with Washington State, not necessarily the upset, but the cover, Leon.
Yeah, I got Washington State to cover as well. It should be a very interesting game. You know, both teams got potent offenses. You know, I like Washington's defense a little better than Washington State, but I'm going to take Washington State in points. Whether Washington's favored by 9, I think it'll be a closer game than that. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think ultimately Washington will win, and I think Washington State will cover the 9 points.
All right, Bill.
I love Mike Leach, and I hope he ends up in the SEC next year in one of these vacancies. But I'm going to take Washington at home. They've outscored opponents at home, 250 to 50. So I'm going to take Washington in this one.
All right, guys, real quick, we're going to take a commercial break and check out our sponsor, MyBookie.ag.
Hey, everyone, my name is Alex Golden. I am the host of the Courtroom Podcast, an NBA debate show here at The Grueling Truth. And I'm here with one simple message. If you're watching the games, it's time to start making money. The Grueling Truth has partnered with MyBookie.ag, an industry-leading sportsbook website who reminds you that where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. And that's why the Grueling Truth urges you to check out MyBookie.ag. In addition to the usual thousands of odds, money lines, proposition bets, and futures offered on MyBookie.ag daily, they also have in-game live betting and a mobile site that makes wagering on the go easier than ever. So join now, and MyBookie.ag will give you a 50% bonus on first deposit for up to $3,000 in extra playing money. Just enter promo code TGT50. That's TGT50 to take advantage of this offer. Visit MyBookie.ag, courtesy of the Grueling Truth Network, and enjoy winning today. MyBookie.ag. You play, you win, you get paid.
All right, guys, we're back on the College Football Weekly Pick'em Show with Mike Goodpaster, Brian Schmidt, Leon Searcy, Bill Searcy. So, of course, we got to pick the Alabama and the Miami games in the second half of this show. But we're going to start off with, first up, the Wisconsin Badgers at the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Wisconsin's favored by 17, Bill.
Yeah, I'm taking Wisconsin. They got too much to play for, and especially against Minnesota, I got to take Wisconsin.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take Wisconsin as well. I just don't think Minnesota is going to be able to hang with them. But watch this Minnesota team over the next couple of years. I think you're going to really start to see them make some headway. Are they going to be a conference power? I don't think so. But they're going to be a team that's going to be can be an 8-9 win team. They can kind of be that Northwestern of the Big Ten.
All right, this is my upset alert, believe it or not. And I'm definitely taking Minnesota with the points. I think they got a shot to win the game. I really like PJ Fleck. I know they completely laid an egg last week and lost 39-0. How many times do you see a team play that and come back next week and shock everybody, and vice versa? He plays that good, will come back and play that bad. But I like PJ Fleck in Minnesota with 17 points, Leon.
Oh, okay. Well, I like Wisconsin in this game.
I figured that just by the way you said okay, Leon.
Well, yeah, I like Wisconsin's game. I think they've got a lot to play for. I mean, they were that one team, that's sitting on the outside looking in. We're getting a lot of respect from the committee when it comes to the Final Four. I think they're a little bit one-dimensional. I think the strength of their team is their offensive line and the running game. I've seen them play on defense. They play really sound football on defense. But I got Wisconsin in this game. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think that right now Wisconsin is playing for style points, and whoever they play, I mean, they got this game, and then they've got the Big Ten championship game. So right now Wisconsin, because of their schedule, I mean, they're playing for style points to see if they can get in the Final Four in the championship. So I got Wisconsin big in this game.
All right, Leon, we'll stay with you. The next game, the Clemson Tigers favored by 14 at South Carolina.
South Carolina. This is another rivalry game. They're playing in South Carolina. Clemson's quarterback, he's getting healthy again. I'm not sure if he's at 100%, but that offense seems to be clicking on all cylinders. Now, granted, they played the Sisters of the Poor the last week, and they put up a lot of points against the team. But I think they're moving right now in the right direction. The defense always plays sound. But this is another one of these rivalry games at home. Clemson's favored by how many?
14.
14 points?
Yeah.
I'll take Clemson in the points. I think they'll cover those 14 points.
All right. I'm going to take South Carolina, who's played a lot better recently, and I'm going to take the 14 points in the rivalry, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to take I'm with you, Mike. I'm going to take South Carolina in the points. Clemson wins the game, but I think South Carolina keeps it tighter than people think, just, because it's at home in the big rivalry.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna take South Carolina as well. I think when you look at the rivalry, I think maybe a little bit too many points, and South Carolina has played better. So I really think this gives them an opportunity to keep it close.
All right, next up we got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, a team that I know Leon Searcy holds near and dear to his heart. At the Stanford Cardinals, Leon, Notre Dame is favored by 2.5 at Stanford.
At Stanford. You can't call them the Fighting Irish. We took the
so
fight
it would be like the Catholics versus the geniuses, Notre Dame, Stanford?
No, that's a good one. I'm taking Stanford in this game. I've seen Stanford play. I've seen Notre Dame play. Both teams are basically run teams, and they're playing at Stanford, right? Correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm going to take Stanford. I'm going to take Stanford to win this game. It'll be a close one, but I think Stanford will pull it out in the end.
Yeah, I'm taking Stanford. I'll take the 2 points to go with it, but I think Stanford beats them too. I think they're a better coached football team. I can tell you this: I did get to go see Josh Adams in person. I mean, that kid's going to be a really good running back in the NFL if he can stay healthy. The thing I like about him and Barkley is the fact that they actually stick their nose in there and block people, which you don't see from running backs much nowadays. Brian, Notre Dame or Stanford?
I'm going to take Stanford. Being on the road, it's after the debacle in Miami, the one thing that Notre Dame has shown over the years is when they get beat like that, they turn around the next week and struggle. So I definitely think this is a game that Stanford will cover, and I think they'll win it.
All right, Bill?
I'm taking Stanford too. Notre Dame goes in the tank. And I hate Notre Dame because I never did beat them, so I'm taking Stanford.
Well, that's the reason to hate them. Let's see. I know Leon had some battles with them too a little bit, didn't you, Leon?
Yeah, we had a few.
The next game. This is a game that used to mean something. I don't think it does anymore. I don't even know why I got it on here. But Florida State, -5 at Florida. How bad is Florida, Bill, that they are 5-point underdogs to Florida State?
And that's the battle of the worst. Good Lord. What is it? What's the line again?
Florida State is favored by 5 over the Gators.
I'm going to take Florida State. I think both teams are bad teams. I think Florida might just be worse. I'll take Florida State in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Florida State also. I'll take Jimbo Fisher over whatever Florida's got there for a coach, which is kind of debatable recently. Leon.
Yeah, I got Florida State as well. As bad as Florida State is playing, I mean, Florida's playing a lot worse. I mean, the one staple used to be their defense. Their defense gives up big plays, and they can't stop the run, and the offense can't score. They can't run. They can't do anything. I mean, and I just think Florida State just got a lot more talent on both sides of the ball than they do. So I'm going to take Florida State and win.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm going to take Florida State. Florida's just bad. Certainly Florida State can't be that bad, I don't think. So, yeah.
All right, next up, a very interesting game. The Miami Hurricanes favored by 14 at Pittsburgh, where it'll probably be a little bit cold, Leon.
Yeah, it will be cold. This is a very interesting game. I've seen Pittsburgh play a couple of games. They're pretty stout defensively. They're all right on offense. The key to the game is going to be how well we're able to run the ball up front. And we've struggled up front, especially on short yardage and third down efficiency, and in the red zone, especially near the goal line. I mean, we're like 100 and something when it comes to the red zone efficiency, and when it comes down to third down and 1, I mean, we're even worse. So that's strictly on the offensive line. And I've seen Pittsburgh defense. They play sound defense. They get after you. They stop the run. They get after the quarterback. So this game is going to be won. I believe Miami's going to win the game, of course. I'm going to pick the Hurricanes to win the game. But it's got to be one up front, because when you go and play those cold weather games like that, the offensive line's got to control the line of scrimmage, and it's got to move the chains and run the ball in order to win. So I've got Miami to cover the 14 points.
Yeah, if you look at Pitt, I mean, they've played pretty much everybody tough. They beat Virginia 31-14 on the 28th of October. They lost a 6-point game at Virginia Tech, Brian. So I don't think this game's necessarily a lock for Miami.
No, I definitely don't think it's a lock. But I would say this: Miami's a team on a mission right now. I don't think that Pitt's going to be able to do enough to stop that. So I mean, I'll definitely go with Miami.
All right, Bill.
Yep, I'm going with Miami too. I just think they're on a roll now. They've got everything to play for. I've been saying since way back earlier in the year that I thought they were really underrated. Not that they're underrated now, but I think people still may be taking them for granted. So I'm taking Miami.
All right, so that brings us to the final game of the week. We need a drum roll for this, Bill?
No.
No. Bill obviously doesn't own a drum. We get the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Iron Bowl at Auburn. Alabama is favored by 4, Bill.
Well, I don't, other than they've got us ranked number 1 in the country, I don't know why we're favored by 4 the way Auburn played against Georgia. But, I'm going to take Alabama. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't think you can even depend on a blowout on either side. So, but I got to take my team. The one thing I hate is playing down at Auburn. Auburn's got it going in the right direction right now, and once again they're convinced that they can still get in the Final Four if they beat Alabama and then win the SEC championship. So, but I'm taking Alabama.
All right, Leon.
The Iron Bowl. I always enjoyed this game. Auburn, Alabama. I always enjoy watching this game. I've been watching them over the past 5 to 6 years. There's always been, some excitement involved in it. So, I mean, there's a lot on the line. I think Auburn might be the scariest team out there. Of all the teams that are playing right now, Auburn is probably the least favorite team you want to play right now. Right now, they got it clicking on all cylinders. That defensive front is stout. I'm a little concerned about Alabama injuries, especially defensively.
Yep.
And I'm a little concerned about Hearns. He's still a little bit one-dimensional when it comes. I mean, he's a hell of a running back, playing quarterback. I'm gonna go with Auburn by 1. I got Auburn winning by 1.
All right. You talking about Jalen Hurts, quarterback?
Yeah, Hurts.
The same Jalen Hurts that used his arm to lead his team on a last-minute touchdown drive in a national championship game before Deshaun Watson just happened to do the same thing. The same Jalen Hurts that
did he lead them to a championship or not?
State. Hey, hold on now. Ain't his fault nobody played defense. It's not his fault they played man coverage on the goal line and got picked. But I like Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts
like him as a winner.
He lost 1 game in 2 years. I think he throws the ball fine. With that being said, I think Auburn will win the game. But I think Jalen Hurts throws the ball fine.
He doesn't even complete 50% of his passes. That's not efficiency, especially in college football. I mean, you're looking for more 60, 70 at college, are you not?
Well, what I'm looking for is to win. And he's like 21 over 2 years.
He's only lost one game. He's only lost one game in 2 years. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what I look for, because this is the thing. If you're just looking for stats, Dan Marino's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. But would you rather have Dan Marino playing for you in the Super Bowl, or Tom Brady, or Joe Montana?
Can we stick to college football? See how you just switched it up?
I rest my case.
Hey, we're gonna find out how good Jalen is in the passing game Saturday.
Okay,
He's gonna have to throw the ball to win.
This is the other thing. I'm gonna call you on this too, because you said he don't complete 50% of his passes. I'm looking at the stats here. Last year he completed 63%. This year he's completed 62%. Last year he threw 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. This year 14 touchdowns. He's thrown one pick all year. With a pass of 160.4.
How many passes?
Yeah, he's thrown one game. He's thrown 200 passes this year, so he's averaging 20, 25 passes a game.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, then maybe I gave him a. Then maybe I'll take it back there. How about that?
Okay. Well, it's too late. You done said it. But everybody says that, and I have this exact same argument with him. So.
Hey, listen,
no, but you know what? Exactly what Leon said is exactly what kind of the national opinion is too. Because if you don't watch Alabama all the time, that's kind of the rap that he's gotten. You know, so that doesn't. But we will find out how good of a passer he is this weekend. Because I believe he's going to have to be on the money for Alabama to win.
Well, I can tell you, this is what concerns me with Alabama and why I pick Auburn to win the game. It's just the fact that Alabama, it's not their fault, because nobody knew Florida State was going to lose their quarterback in the second quarter of that game. And the SEC would be down this year. But, I mean, Auburn just got done playing Georgia. I mean, that's one of the best teams in the country. They just played them. Alabama's coming off playing Mercer. And, I mean, their schedule has not been that tough. And, I mean, outside of the Mercer game and a couple others on their schedule, it's not their fault that teams are down. But I'm going with Auburn just because I think they're more battle-tested.
Well, we'll find out Saturday.
Yes, we will.
All right, Bill. All right, Bill. All right, Brian, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with what's the point spread again? Because all this gibber on, I forgot the point spread was.
Alabama's favored by 4. That's the other reason I'm going with Auburn, because I think this is a 3-point game one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's too much. I'll go with Auburn.
Well, y'all are killing me.
Hey, I just want you to remember this. I mean, in the 2 years we've done this show, I've only went against you 3 times, and I was right twice.
Yeah. Hey, I understand why you're going against it. The logic is to take Auburn at 4 points, but when it comes to Alabama, you know, I'm not very logical. So.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
I can understand that. I understand your point there too. Because let's say
but you know who's going to play
for
the next?
You know who's going to play for the national championship? And I pick them every week on this show.
Yeah, Alabama, Miami's going to play for the national championship.
Well, if Miami beats Clemson, and I mean, right now, when you look at the Final Four, this is my other question. I mean, who would be your Final Four right now, Leon?
My Final Four would be Miami. I think it's going to be Miami, Oklahoma, Auburn, Wisconsin.
Miami, Oklahoma, Auburn, Wisconsin. All right, so what's your pick for the Final Four when this is all said and done, Brian? Don't give me none of that Buckeye crap.
Miami, Oklahoma. I still feel like the winner of Auburn, Alabama is going to be in there. So we'll say for now, we'll say Auburn. And I'll tell you, I mean, I still that 4th spot, I still feel like could be if Wisconsin wins out, Wisconsin will get it. I don't think that's going to happen. It could be did I say Oklahoma? I keep feeling like I forget Oklahoma, but yeah, Oklahoma, Miami, Auburn, and I'll tell you, I mean, I know, people think it's been crazy, but I still think if Ohio State wins out, I think they'll get the 4th spot. I really do.
All right. But my question is this. If Miami loses to Clemson and they've only got one loss, how can you put Ohio State, who's been blown out twice, in over them? Especially if they lose to Clemson 24-21.
Well, that I would agree with, but here's the thing is, and it's been said on a lot of different outlets, Ohio State and Alabama are just they're that marquee teams. Miami is another one now.
I know, and I know we always had that argument, and I know that's how it works, but I'm just talking the 4 teams that deserve it.
Yeah,
because to me, the loser of Miami and Clemson has a better resume than Ohio State, even if they beat Wisconsin, because Wisconsin hadn't played anybody.
Yeah, but they're going to look at Wisconsin sitting where they're sitting right now as the big reason why. That's just the reality of it.
But even right now, Wisconsin's not sitting in the top 4, so everybody realizes their schedule is pretty much crap.
Absolutely, but if they can put Ohio State, it's the same way with Alabama. If they can put them in that top 4, they're going to do it because the reality is that's what they feel people want to see.
All right, so Bill, if Alabama loses to Auburn, do they still get into the Final Four? Because, see, I think that's the big kicker for you, Brian, with Ohio State, is if Alabama loses one of these next 2 games, and they only have 1 loss, I mean, I think Bama nationally is probably a slightly bigger name than Ohio State.
I think Alabama still gets in even with a loss. But
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm picking Alabama, Miami, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin.
Honest opinion, Bill. If they lose this game, do they really deserve to be in the Final Four?
I don't think they do.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that they're not one of the top 4 teams. It's just there's no resume there. Because Auburn is their big game now.
That's what I was just going to say. I was just going to say that the teams that were supposed to be their marquee games turned out not to be, especially the first one in Florida State. And so Auburn has become the toughest team probably that they will have played to date. And if they lose it, I have to agree with you. But I think they will be in the Final Four, even if they do lose the game.
Yeah, I think if Alabama loses to Auburn, it doesn't play in the SEC championship game. Let's say it's Auburn and Georgia. Now, Auburn beats Alabama by a field goal of something less than 7 points. They're not going to drop Alabama from 1 to 5. They're going to drop Alabama from 1 to 4.
Hey, this may sound crazy, Leon, but what happens if Alabama loses to Auburn and then Auburn loses to Georgia?
Ooh.
Ooh. And all 3 of those things, or both of those things, could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. You're absolutely right.
So what happens then? They just put 3 SEC schools in?
No.
3 SEC schools, and they'll have Ohio State and Notre Dame have a play-in game just to get bigger TV ratings.
Yeah, well, I think if Alabama loses to Auburn and Auburn loses to Georgia, I think Georgia bumps Alabama out of the top 4. I think the committee will take into consideration the conference championship winner.
Yeah.
In that game, I think so.
I think overall this is a mess, and there needs to just be more teams in this tournament.
Yeah, eventually it will be.
Yep.
It needs to be. Yeah.
And hopefully a year like this will make people realize that.
Yeah, I could deal with 8. I can't deal with more than 8. Though.
Why not? They do it at every other level of college football.
Oh, do they? Yeah, that's right. They do. Yeah.
Yeah, most is 16. One double A is 32, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, but 16
32.
is water. Yeah, I can't have 16 teams. 8 is enough. If you can get in the final.
Why can't you have 32 teams?
Oh, come on. Are you serious? We're going to have Citadel in there now, and who else we're going to have?
How would the Citadel be in the top 32?
I was just saying, you want to add everybody in the damn thing now. I mean, you want everybody to get a seat to the table. Everybody can't sit at the table and eat now. I think 8
but 32 is less than a third of the teams, and that way nobody gets left out. Because right now, you're sitting with a team like Central Florida that deserves an opportunity to play for something.
Okay, so what about class? So these kids don't go to class now, huh?
Wait a second. That drives me nuts because of this. Are you telling me kids that play Division II, Division III, and 1AA don't go to class?
I don't know. Do they? That's a lot of.
I assume they do because I don't think that it pays as much. But the thing is this: if you cut the season down, so it's an 11-game season, you don't have all the horseshit conference championship games, you would be starting in 2 weeks a 32-team playoff, which would take 5 weeks. 5 weeks puts you at January 1st. What's the difference? Because most of these teams, I mean, they prepare for a month to get ready for the Final Four. And I mean, the other thing is this: when you do it like that, and teams have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to play another game, you kind of change the entire dynamics of what they've done to get there. Because if you have any momentum, you can lose it there. So I just think 32 teams. I'll take 16. 16. You get 16, 8, you get 4 weeks. I mean, because let's face it, if they wanted to, if the schoolwork was that important to everybody, this season ends, next week or the week after, December 1st? Why wouldn't you just play the Final Four on December 8th and December 15th? Because they want money. So I think this thing about that, that's the bottom line. Nobody cares if these kids go to school.
Exactly.
These kids are property of the school.
Well, exactly. And what about the physical strain on these kids having to play all these extra games? I mean, hell, 11, 12 games is already grueling and have to go through it. Then you have to tell the kids, you got another 2 or 3 or 4 more games to play before your season's over with. So now you're enticing more injuries and all the other kind of stuff that goes. I mean, 12 games is long. Most of these kids are just ready to play in their bowl game and call it quits. But then you're going to add 3 to 4 more games onto a schedule.
Yeah, but don't you think these kids would be a little bit more excited about getting to play for a national championship?
I agree. And they're crazy enough to go ahead and play those extra 3 or 4 more games as well.
Yeah, and if you get, like right now, Central Florida might be a 16 seed. That would be a really dangerous game for Alabama.
It would be.
Central Florida is a good football team.
They are, and South Florida. Both teams are good.
Yeah, so is Memphis. Memphis is good with a bad. All 3 of them have big-time quarterbacks and good defense. Well, Memphis' defense sucks, but they got a big-time quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Memphis would be a threat to anybody, but Central Florida and South Florida would be, I think.
Yeah.
And I would just like to see those teams get the chance. And then maybe if you're doing that, maybe Alabama, shorten the regular season to 10 games. Tell Alabama they can't play Mercer. Tell Clemson they can't play the Citadel. Tell Ohio State they can't play half the teams in the Big Ten because they suck really bad.
Yeah, this year they did.
Yeah, this year they did for sure.
I don't know. I think there's a better way to do things than what is being done now. I'd even take 8, but I think if you go to 16, these teams that go, like Western Michigan last year, they proved when they played Wisconsin in the Cotton Bowl that they could play with pretty much anybody.
Yeah, they did. They gave them a fix.
Yeah. And if you go 16 teams, they get a shot. A team that goes undefeated, no matter what conference they're in, gets a shot. And I just think everybody deserves a chance to prove whether they can do it or not. And the way it is right now, it's held down to 5 conferences. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. They're getting ignored. So
I agree.
But, all right, guys, I want to thank Leon. Hopefully you come back next week, Leon.
I'll come back.
All right.
I'm a turnover chain music this time.
Yeah, well, if we get the live thing, I'll tell you what, the turnover chain music was at the start of the show, Leon. I can tell you that now. The show ended up being taped, but the first 10 seconds is the turnover chain. Does Alabama have a rap video, Bill?
We don't have a rap video, man. We have a turnover chain.
Alabama used to. I don't know if they're still doing it this year. I hadn't seen them do it. They had a belt, like a big-time wrestling championship belt that they gave, when they got a turnover. But I hadn't seen it this year. They may have taken it away. I don't know.
Well, hopefully they didn't turn it over to Miami. Little play on words. But I want to thank Brian, Leon, Bill for being on the show tonight. Make sure you check out all the Grueling Truth You can check us out on Twitter at Grilling Truth. You can go to iTunes, download the app specifically for all of our podcasts. Go to grillingtruth.net for all of our content. Ringside Boxing Show last night, or 2 nights ago, we had junior welterweight champion Terrence Crawford on the show. Make sure you check out that. The NFL Pick'em Show will be tomorrow night. Leon, if you want to come back today, you're more than welcome to.
All right.
10 o'clock Eastern. All right. So remember, you can catch everything on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grilling Truth. So for Bill Searcy, Leon Searcy, Brian Schmidt, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.